Now at 6:30,
I think a bill can be big, or it can be beautiful.
Elon Musk clashes with Trump on the president's big, beautiful bill tackling taxes and immigration. This amid mounting pressure for Senate Republicans to pass the bill under an approaching deadline.
Plus, one person is dead and 9 are injured after a violent attack at a food distribution center in Gaza.
These images are heartbreaking, to say the least.
What officials are saying about the incident.
And Trump issues a warning to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, how Israel's threats of an airstrike on Iran could impact a nuclear deal between the U.S. and Iran. Newswatch starts right now. It's been a gray, rainy day here in Athens. Good evening, I'm Charlie Ehlenfeld. Thanks for joining us.
And I'm Talia Milowich. Welcome to Newswatch. Let's turn it over to forecaster Steve Nedlick. Steve, are these clouds going to clear up tonight?
Yeah, guys, unfortunately not tonight, but we are done with the rain that has been affecting us for the last day or so. So right now we're sitting at mid-60s, so again, a little warmer than yesterday. But for right now, we are left with those just few sprinkles of that leftover system. And until about 11 o'clock tonight, we do have a chance of some of these pop-up thunderstorms, but nothing crazy, so your evening plans should be on. Looking at southern Ohio, we are all looking at these below seasonably average temperatures, 60s all over the place. And like this time of year, we would be at 70, 75, but for right now, we're at the low 60s. As for tonight, again, those showers are sticking around, but we will drop to the mid-50s, so not super chilly, so you might need a hoodie heading out the door, but nothing too crazy. As we look into tomorrow, we are finally going to get a break from that rain, so finally. As we look into tomorrow, again, the skies will begin to clear, and that's going to allow us to start bumping up our temperatures a little bit, and then it will be warmer, and that sunshine will be beautiful, so stay tuned for my full forecast when we break down the weekend.
Thanks for the great work, Steve. The Nelsonville City Council is still weighing options on how it will transition to a different form of government next year.
During last night's council meeting, members discussed options to deal with the so-called December problem. As of now, 6 of the 7 current council members' terms end November 30th. That means for the whole month of December, Nancy Sonic will be the only member of the City Council.
To fill the vacant seats, one option would be for Sonic to appoint someone to one seat on the council. Then Sonic and the newly appointed council member would appoint a third member, and then the 3-member council would appoint a fourth, and so on until the council was filled. The city's official other option is to hold a special election to fill council seats for the month of December. Morrill County Sheriff's Deputy Daniel Shearer was shot and killed in the line of duty. Shearer was shot and killed by 53-year-old Brian Michael Wilson Monday night while responding to a domestic situation. Wilson has been charged with attempted murder. Shearer was a 4-year veteran and is survived by his friends and family. The Delaware County Sheriff is handling the investigation.
Measles cases in Ohio remain steady as the number of cases in the U.S. increase. Ohio has 34 measles cases and 1 hospitalization. The state's largest outbreaks are in Ashtabula County with 20 cases and Knox County with 16. Allen, Cuyahoga, Holmes, and Defiance counties each have 1 confirmed case. New data from the CDC shows there are 1,046 cases confirmed, an increase from the week before. Experts say the slight increase is a good indicator that outbreaks are slowing down.
The Ohio Department of Natural Resources stopped a fracking operation after a series of earthquakes in Noble County. In just 2 months, the county had over 50 small earthquakes, which is believed to be because of fracking. Fracking requires fluid to be injected into the earth at high pressure, propping open rocks underground to let natural gas and oil out. The process allows more gas and oil to be harvested, but can cause earthquakes when some of the fluid gets into the faults. Fracking-related earthquakes were more common in eastern Ohio a decade ago, but since the state has increased regulations, the risk has decreased. In other news, the ODNR has installed life jacket stations in 32 state parks across Ohio. ODNR bought almost 2,000 life jackets in varying sizes to give free access to flotation devices. Life jacket loaner stations can be found in 12 state parks across southeast Ohio, including Stroud's Run, Lake Logan, and Buckeye Lake. 75% of boating deaths are because of drowning, and in 87% of those cases, the person wasn't wearing a life jacket. To to initiate hopes of increased water safety.
Ohio had over 21,000 missing persons last year. Over 16,000 of those were missing children. One group hopes to change that. The working group, made up of law enforcement leaders, legislative representatives, and families of missing persons, came up with 18 recommendations to make missing persons investigations more efficient. The group's recommendations include more public education and training for officers, as well as legislation to make it easier to obtain search warrants in missing persons cases. They also suggested having state and federal agencies work closely together.
The Ohio State Legislature is considering two bills that could stop immigrants from buying property. House Bill 1 and Senate Bill 88 are almost identical bills, both preventing foreign adversaries from buying real estate property in protected areas. These include any property within a 25-mile radius of military bases or critical infrastructure like railroads and water treatment facilities. China, Cuba, Iran, North Korea, Venezuela, and Russia were all deemed foreign adversaries by the Ohio Secretary of State's office. Opponents say the bill will prevent immigrants from these counties from buying or owning homes or businesses. Elon Musk is raising concerns about President Donald Trump's sweeping tax and spending cuts package, saying he believes it would raise the U.S. budget deficit and undercut efforts by the Department of Government Efficiency.
These comments come as Musk is taking a step back from his government work. Julia Benbrook has more.
Elon Musk, who is of course a big Trump donor and has been by the president's side as a special government employee for the first few months of the term, is criticizing the president's so-called One Big Beautiful Bill. Musk has notably played a leading role in the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, with the stated goal of identifying and eliminating, quote, waste, fraud, and abuse within the federal government. The tech billionaire is criticizing Trump's massive agenda bill, which the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office estimates would add $3.8 trillion to the deficit, saying he believes it undermines DOGE's recent efforts.
So, I was disappointed to see the massive spending bill, frankly, which increases the budget deficit, not just decrease it, and undermines the work that the DOGE team is doing.
I actually thought that when this big, beautiful bill came along. I mean, everything he's done on DOGE gets wiped out in the first year.
I think a bill can be big or it can be beautiful, but I don't know if it can be both. My personal opinion.
After intense negotiations, the House narrowly passed Trump's agenda bill last week. Now all eyes are on the Senate, where it faces challenges and potential changes. Republicans have set a goal of getting the bill to the president's desk for a signature by the 4th of July. Reporting at the White House, I'm Julia Benbrook.
United States Secretary of State Marco Rubio announced a new visa restriction policy. The restriction will apply to foreign nationals who censored free speech in the U.S. Certain family members may also be covered by the restrictions. Rubio says it's unacceptable for foreign officials to issue or threaten arrest warrants on U.S. citizens or residents for social media posts. The announcement comes as the Trump administration works to revoke visas of people who have been involved in protests against the war in Gaza.
Aid distribution in Gaza turned into pandemonium yesterday. Palestinian health officials said one person had been shot dead and 9 people were wounded. For 11 weeks, Israel blocked all humanitarian aid into the enclave. Yesterday's incident occurred in the first day of a U.S.-backed distribution mechanism in Rafah. Reed Binion reports.
We have been watching the video coming out of Gaza.
Officials at the United Nations reacting to the chaos that broke out at an aid distribution site in Gaza run by a U.S.-backed group on Tuesday.
And frankly, these images are heartbreaking to say the least.
Thousands of desperate Palestinians rushed to receive food supplies. Crowds tore down some of the fencing and appeared to climb over barriers. Israeli troops fired warning shots into the air, and the U.S. contractors overseeing the site briefly withdrew. The aid distribution came up at a Tuesday State Department briefing.
The real story here, the story is that aid and food is moving into Gaza at a massive scale at this point, when you're looking at 8,000 food boxes.
The distribution site is run by the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. Its aid plan has drawn criticism from the United Nations. The GHF acknowledged Tuesday's incident, but State Department spokesperson Tammy Bruce appeared to sidestep the issue.
I'm not going to address either gossip or complaints or people who knew or weren't included or would do it a different way or who's shooting at whom.
I'm Reed Binion reporting.
President Trump says he told Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to hold off on an airstrike on Iran. The Trump administration is still in the middle of negotiations with Tehran about a new nuclear deal. Trump said he thought a strike on Iran would be inappropriate given the efforts to make a deal.
Yeah, I told him this would be inappropriate to do right now because we're very close to a solution. Now, that could change at any moment.
Trump's comments come as the UN's atomic watchdog group said there still isn't a clear end to the U.S. and Iran's negotiations over Tehran's nuclear program.
Coming up, the UN predicts millions fewer jobs, why Trump's tariffs brought major uncertainty to the global economy.
And if you're looking for new supplies for your furry friend, you may be shocked by today's prices. What experts say you can expect in pet supply prices.
We're getting a break from the rain. Stay tuned to find out when it returns.
Quantum physics completely changed the way we used to live into the way we live now.
The tiniest mysteries
we need to know how things interact on a fundamental level to do big things
are sometimes the weirdest.
Entanglement is the stubborn,
disturbing, interesting, and the most confusing
part of what it means to describe how nature works.
Decoding the universe, Quantum, on Nova.
Tonight at 9 on WOUB.
It's about to go down.
We're just surrounded by weirdness and absurdity all the time.
It transforms everything. I think I just fell in love.
I'm turning dreams into reality.
What did we do? How did we get here?
I feel comfortable when I'm in the kitchen.
Fantastic! I do too. It's the best place to be.
You did better than me.
I learned from the best. You know what the next best place is? The table with everybody.
Thank you. I got it.
Okay, another kiss. To invite my friends to cook with me is something I treasure. Tutto fatto, tutto fatto.
Monday at 8 on WOUB.
It was another gloomy day in Athens today, and that was because we had this frontal system moving through, but thankfully we have a little bit of a cold front moving through that's going to help clear up this rain and help calm down our weather a little bit, which is going to be a welcome sight for us. Now, as you can see here, we still have these lingering showers in the area. Now, that's going to be in effect until about 11 p.m. tonight, as we could have a possible rumble of thunder, but for the most part, your evening plans should be intact. Now, we will be getting down to 55 degrees tonight, so it won't be too chilly, especially compared to what we've been having during the day. So you might only need, a hat or maybe a sweatshirt, but make sure to bring your raincoat just in case you have to dodge a few raindrops. Now, taking a look at tomorrow morning, we might have some morning fog that'll affect your morning commute, but it's going to burn off by about the early afternoon. Your morning commute may be affected, but for the most part tomorrow, it is going to be night and day difference from today. We're going to be a lot nicer weather. Now, as you can see, this clearing out is just statewide. There's no clouds, no rain really being left over, and that's going to continue up until about the nighttime hours of tomorrow. Now, we are going to heat up a lot because of the sun that's going to be allowed to come through. Now, those showers percentage, that's going to be really late night Thursday, so it won't affect any of your daytime plans, and we are going to start feeling a little more summer-like, so that's something to look forward to. Now, unfortunately, we are going to have another front start to set up on Friday morning that is going to start pushing more clouds into our area, and it's going to do pretty much the same thing it just did last night in terms of bringing those clouds, those rains, the rain and the dropping of the temperatures. Now, by Friday night, it is pretty widespread. Now, we are expecting about 1/4 to a 1/2 inch of rain during the day on Friday, and we are expecting at least another 1/4 during the night. So any of your plans might get washed out Friday night, unfortunately, but it should clear up as we head into the weekend, thankfully. Now, taking a look, as we have some of this heating up we're experiencing, the 6 to 10 day outlook is looking a lot better than it did this time last week. We are well above average. The warmer, the darker the temperature, those oranges, those reds, that's what you want to see. So be on the lookout for that, as we are going to start seeing those summer-like temperatures, and that's really reflected over the 7 day here. As again, once we get through some of those rain chances on Friday and Saturday, we start to clear up, and then we are looking like, this time of year, summer-like temperatures. 80, 84, 87, but we really just have to get through the first half of this week with those rain showers, so be on the lookout for that.
So, summer's here at last. Is that what we're seeing from this upcoming weather?
If anything, if this last week tells anything, it's hit and miss all the time, but we at least get a few days of it to start the week next week.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about April showers bring May showers. I don't know what May showers bring, but we're certainly getting a lot of them.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's great for the growing season, so that's something to absolutely look forward to if you're a farmer. So a lot better than this time last year.
Yeah, absolutely. It's bringing out the green, but, thankfully we're getting to summer weather. Thank you so much, Steve. Thank you. The United Nations expects millions of potential jobs will vanish this year because of an economic slowdown triggered by President Donald Trump's trade war. A UN agency predicts a $53 million job loss at the end of this year. But officials say the number reflects 7 million fewer jobs than previously expected. The shakier economic outlook is blamed on trade disruptions and geopolitical tensions. The agency says there are nearly 84 million jobs across 71 countries that are directly or indirectly tied to U.S. consumer demand, and that makes them vulnerable to the impact of tariffs.
Before you know it, parents will be scanning stores for back-to-school supplies. But Trump's tariffs could affect what products are available. One of the most frequent back-to-school purchases, shoes. Last year, Americans spent about $7.6 billion on shoes alone during the back-to-school shopping season. But experts say this year, consumers should brace for fewer choices, even empty shelves, as well as higher prices. He blames tariffs. President Trump says the tariffs are designed to encourage companies to make products in America and create more jobs. But officials say less than 1% of shoes sold in the U.S. are made in America.
China has been our #1 supplier for many, many years.
Experts suggest parents begin back-to-school shopping early to have the most options and avoid these price hikes.
Americans love their pets, and it's easy to think a carefree pup or napping kitten is sheltered from economic concerns like inflation and tariffs.
But new data finds pet owners have felt a squeeze recently. Karen Kafa has the details from Washington.
94 million U.S. households have at least one pet. That is according to the American Pet Products Association. But like everything else, changes in the economy have impacted the cost of pet care, with some ups and some downs.
As inflation remains elevated and tariffs come on the scene, caring for a pet has become more costly in some areas.
It does cost quite a lot for the average household to look after their four-legged friends.
And is finally starting to cool in others. The Bank of America Institute notes that pet food inflation slowed to almost zero last month, but inflation in pet services like veterinary care remains elevated.
There's the labor costs of the vets and the supply of people who can, with those important skills that's determining the cost.
Meanwhile, tariffs could hike the prices of some pet supplies. Barton O'Brien is the founder of Bay Dog, which makes everything from harnesses to collars to toys. He says once his pre-tariff inventory is out, prices have to go up.
The current tariff rate is actually higher than my operating margin. So if I don't raise prices, I'm just going to go out of business.
And as prices rise across the board, Bank of America says some pet owners are trading down on the pet food they buy and seeking pet insurance to help ease the cost of vet bills.
Households are under pressure for all sorts of reasons. Lots of rising costs just unrelated to pets. And I think one of the things we've seen in our Bank of America spending data is households are actually pulling back on spending.
With all of the current economic factors at play, pet care website Rover estimated the cost of owning a dog will increase up to 7% in 2025. The cost of owning a cat up as much as 10%.
Bank of America did find some generational differences in how pet owners trim their cost, with lower-income millennials pulling back pet spending the most this year, likely to focus that money in other areas like housing and utilities. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
Coming up, a new study finds a concerning relationship between marijuana and cardiovascular disease.
Cozy mysteries have become viewer favorites on Masterpiece Mystery. They are upbeat and light-hearted, often featuring amateur sleuths in quaint villages.
Up top.
Join us for a behind-the-scenes look at Grantchester, Miss Scarlet, Magpie Murders, Moonflower Murders, and the Marlowe Murder Club in The Cozy Mysteries of Masterpiece Mystery.
Sunday at 8:30 on WOUB.
The only things that really interest me are forensics and criminology.
I need her on my team.
The solution lies in looking at it from a different angle.
Patience is the only one who spotted a pattern between those deaths.
Your father was a police officer.
I need to solve the case. I can't leave a puzzle unsolved any more than you can.
There's much about me that you don't know. It's quite the adventure. Shall we?
One out of every 4 animals is a beetle. Insects with armor. Beetles recycle the soil and live to do some dirty jobs. From beetle battles to Earth's cleanup crew. Discover why, without beetles, we would be in deep.
Tonight at 10 on WOUB.
A small study found people that smoked marijuana and consumed THC-laced edibles experienced similar earlier cardiovascular disease to tobacco smokers. Research found vascular or vein function was reduced by 40%. That number was even higher for edibles, coming in at over 50%. A study author emphasized the research only finds an association between the symptoms and marijuana use.
Setting boundaries with people can be tough, but experts say it can play a key role in mitigating stress and improving your relationships. To improve boundaries, experts recommend first reflecting on your own needs and limits. Once you know what you want, relay boundaries clearly, consistently, and assertively. Last, therapist Jody Baumstein says to learn when to say no.
This is hard for a lot of us, but we want to remember that no can be a full sentence. You don't need to explain it. You don't need to justify it. This is about protecting your own mental well-being.
Baumstein said it is natural to feel uncomfortable and that it should not stop you from creating healthy boundaries. With the U.S. population projected to get older, experts are detailing ways for that growing population to reduce risk of various health risks.
Mandy Gaither has more on what older Americans can do to decrease chronic disease and injury.
It's a leading cause of injury for those ages 65 and older. More than 14 million older adults fall every year as the risk of falling rises with age.
Our muscles begin to lose mass, our joints deteriorate, our bones can become less dense. That can make it harder to move, easier to fracture those bones, and could lead to chronic pain.
Dr. Sanjay Gupta says some simple exercises can help keep bodies strong no matter your age. First, resistance training.
We're talking about weightlifting and push-ups. Those build muscle strength, which in turn burns calories and can prevent weight gain.
Next, cardiovascular activities like walking and biking. Gupta says these exercises can get your heart pumping and help with endurance, heart health, and blood circulation.
Walking is a weight-bearing exercise, so that is a good way to build bone density as well, to help prevent the risk of falling.
Finally, Gupta says balance exercises are also needed as we age to work on core strength and your coordination. He says stretching and yoga are also good options.
Overall, experts recommend 150 minutes a week of exercise and say it's good to mix it up and do a variety of activities.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Amusement park keeps the crown for a third consecutive year.
Next time on the Vietnam War, the fall of Saigon.
10 years worth of history and seeing all of it come unglued.
A lasting memorial.
I looked at my brother's name, but now he wasn't alone either.
And the legacy of war.
I remember asking myself, what was it all about? Was it worth it?
Don't miss the final chapter of the Vietnam War.
Thursday at 9 on WOUB.
Hi, I'm Joe Montaigne. I believe that our local public media stations are the cornerstones of our communities. Public media tells our stories, preserves our history, and inspires the next generation. It provides children with a safe place to learn and delivers vital information when we need it most. It's free, accessible to everyone, and ours to protect. Learn more at protectmypublicmedia.org.
We're on the precipice of a great discovery. I love it.
Welcome!
Whoa, Nelly!
Let's set this palace on fire.
I love it.
Welcome to the News Hour.
What does it mean politically?
Oh.
Fasten your seatbelt.
I love
I love it.
Delighted to hear it. You make a good team.
The National Amusement Park Historical Association released its 39th annual Amusement Park and Attractions Survey earlier this month. For the third consecutive year, Dollywood in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee was named the favorite theme park in 2024. Disneyland in California was ranked the runner-up. The park has been in operation since May 3rd, 1986.
Now guys, I hope they had better weather for their opening weekend than we have had this week. Now, hopefully we're done with the rain for right now, because until about tonight, we are going to be raining all up until about 11 p.m. And then after that, we are good until about Friday, and that's when the rain is going to return. But it looks like once we get to about Saturday at 5 p.m., we are in the clear with those temperatures starting to rise rapidly. And we are looking at even mid to upper 80s as we get to the middle of next week. So be on the lookout for that, as it seems like summer is right around the corner.
Well, blue skies on the way. That does it for our broadcast this evening. For Steve Nedlick and Talia Milowich, I'm Charlie Ehlenfeld.
And I'm Holly. Stay tuned for the PBS News Hour coming up next
Support comes from Goldsberry Wealth Strategies, focusing on helping people achieve a life well lived with a custom strategy.
With offices in Parkersburg and a new location in Athens,